everyone, thank you for tuning in. I have some great news. Well, at least I think it's great news. It's come as a bit of a shock to me, but I've suddenly realised that I have enough tracks to release a solo album. I've been recording material now for a few years, with the intention of at some point putting out a solo record. And last year I released 3 solo singles, just because I was sort of tired of not having anything to release, because completing a whole album, it's quite an investment of time, and I simply don't have that much time to work on my own stuff, because I spend a lot of time working on recordings for other people and playing live in a lot of different bands. I teach a lot of lessons and have a family, a son who's autistic, and there's very little time for me to really invest in recording. But what happened was that a few weeks ago I was working on a new song called I'm Not Done Yet, and I was in love with this song while I was recording it. I think most of us feel that way when we're recording a new thing. It's like, this is the best thing I've ever done. And I recorded everything on it except for the backing vocals. And I came to it one day to record the harmony vocals, and I had listened through before I started singing, and I thought, this is crap. I just fell out of love with it and decided it was terrible, and scrapped it and almost deleted it. And then I recorded straight after, carried on, and I re-recorded the song that I'd started working on a few years ago, and I totally forgot about it. It's a song called It's All Good, and it was the first song that I ever, a few years ago, I got an iPad, and I wanted to know, being a musician, I got an iPad, and I'm like, well, what can we do on this in terms of recording music? Can it handle it? Is it just going to be like a tool for making demos, or can we do a professional recording on this? And if so, how much audio can it handle? Am I going to be limited by how many tracks I can use, etc., etc.? And so I set about recording this song on it, called It's All Good, and I got a fairly completed recording, but it kept crashing. I was having all sorts of problems with it, and I ended up just abandoning it, and then I forgot all about the song, and I used Dropbox, and for some reason I was searching for something in Dropbox and mistyped in the search bar, and It's All Good came up, and I listened to it, and I thought, that had potential, that song, Now, a few years on, iPad recording is vastly improved. The software is much better. I've got the latest iPad, not a Pro, but the latest normal iPad, and it's much more capable. And so I had another go at it on iPad, and I'm really, really happy with that it came out. And so I finished that a couple of weeks ago. I finished recording all the music for it, but then I couldn't do the vocal because I got ill, and I wasn't up to singing it. So last week my voice was feeling better, so I put down the vocal for that song, finished it off, really happy with it, and I thought, I've used up a lot of space on my iPad recording various things. I should delete off some of the rubbish. So I thought, I'll delete that I'm Not Done Yet song, because that's rubbish. But before I deleted it, I just pressed play, and decided I really liked it again. So I listened through it a few times trying to figure out what it was I'd fallen out of love with about the song, and I couldn't decide what it was, so I finished that one off as well. So last week I finished 2 songs. So when I finished mixing those songs, I moved them over into a folder with all the other finished songs that I have, and realised the folder was quite full. So I had a look, and I figured that there were about 12 songs, because I've recorded a lot of things, but I'm into so many different things, you know, and I never know what style of thing I'm going to record next. But I figured that there were about 12 songs, all my own stuff, that might work together as a record. So where I'm at now is I've made myself a playlist of those songs, and I'm kind of shuffling around the order of the songs and listening through and listening for, you know, what song sounds good following, you know, what's a good order for the tracks, what flows well, and just listening to see if there's any little bits that need correcting on any of the songs, anything that I want to go back and remix or remaster or anything. I've found a couple of little bits, but they are just little things that need tweaking, so that's all good. It's come to me as a bit of a surprise that I'm actually ready to release something. So I have as yet to decide what to do about whether to have another new single to come out with the album, whether to do a video maybe, and I've got to do a photo session, you know, got to do a cover for the album and everything. I've already set things in place as far as releasing it digitally. I've got all that sort of fairly ready to go. But the thing is for some time I've been thinking, you know, if I ever reach a point where I've actually got enough songs to put an album together, is it worth it? Should I do it? Is it worth having something physical in this day and age? But the thing is, the good thing about releasing the singles last year was that quite a lot of people have said to me, you know, I've heard your new song and I like it, but I've not downloaded it because I don't download music. I want to own something physical. And I think enough people have said that to me for it to be worth running off some actual copies. So that's where I'm at. There's an album coming, so there'll be lots of updates about it on my Facebook and website and everywhere else online I can think of to spam people with information about my album that maybe 2 or 3 people out there will actually be interested in. So I'm pretty excited. So thank you for listening, and I will keep you updated.